Chapter 3, Yosho. Yosho's royal ship had the same name as his mother, Funaho. Sailing at full speed through space, her bridge showed a star system on its main monitor. It was Galaxy Academy, a giant educational institution that utilized an entire star system in a neutral zone near the boundaries of Jurai. It used to be a Jurian royal facility, but 20,000 years ago, it transferred to the Galactic Federation. At the time of its founding, there were 6 natural planets and 1 artificial planet, but 4 additional artificial planets were added since. With several thousand satellites bigger than colonies and more construction as large as space stations being built daily, making an accurate estimate of its size was impossible. It was a treasure trove of knowledge, an institution that fundamentally supported the prosperity of humanity, and also a kind of Pandora's box. The bridge's main monitor switched to the central and biggest planet in the Academy. There was neither bodyguard nor a single servant accompanying him. Even Yosho was nervous, though there was nobody who could harm the Jurai royal family after bioaugmentation. It was the center of scientific research in the galaxy, but the Academy's security department had a good reputation, so the likelihood of anything happening was low. Most of all, Yosho was aboard the first-generation battleship Funaho, the best in the fleet even among the most powerful Jurai ships. Taking along security guards on top of this would be shameful. And taking along servants would be like your mother coming along to a boarding school. Yosho was 12 already, and he knew he had to be able to do things for himself. "We're almost there," Yosho mumbled to nobody in particular, turned Funaho's course to the spaceport on the central planet, and prepared to dock. Nobody was there to greet him when he disembarked. He did not expect a glorious reception, but he did feel a shock at the gap between this and what he had been used to on Jurai. So, that's what my existence amounts to in the world outside. In this situation, it really sank in that he had left his home world behind. Relieved from having to attend ceremonies and his royal duties, he felt lighter. "Welcome to the Galaxy Academy, Masaki Yosho Jurai-kun." A girl, presumably a student, spoke to Yosho from behind. She continued, as if she read his thoughts through his expression. "Are you surprised? A Jurian crown prince should get a bigger welcome. Am I right, Yosho-kun?" At the academy, a volunteer student guide was assigned to someone who entered partway through the academic year. She was supposed to look after him through the process. The girl, 3 years his senior, introduced herself, hand outstretched. "My name is Eri Magma. Nice to meet you. I'm Masaki Yosho Jurai." "Magmadano, what you meant earlier, Magmadano," Eri exclaimed with a grimace. "Did I offend you? On Jurai, this is the normal way to address people." "Oh no, that's not what I meant. I just wasn't used to that. Just call me Eri." She laughed, a little embarrassed. "All right, Eridano." "So, I just said. Oh well, you'll need some adjusting." She gave a hidden sigh. He was the Jurai crown prince, after all. Eridano? Sorry I interrupted. Were you surprised at the cold welcome? The son of the most powerful person in the biggest country in the galaxy has come here, but there's no pomp and circumstance. Only a single female student to welcome him. It sounded sarcastic, but Eri did not mean it that way. She was honestly expressing herself, thought Yosho. Her blunt personality was refreshing to him. He answered honestly, "Yes, I realize that my existence is much smaller off Jurai." "Are you really only 12? His reaction was unexpected for Eri. A 12-year-old boy being so naturally mature was a surprise. She furrowed her brows and leaned closer to observe such a curiosity. "Yes, I am." "How boring. I was expecting a spoiled, obnoxious brat throwing a tantrum that things had to be exactly his way." "Huh. There are a lot of guys like that, especially the special transfer students. Most of it is the parents' fault. They think this is a tourist destination or something. The guy who came before you, the relative of a Jurai royal, came on a flashy royal ship with a crowd of attendants. Even though the power he had in his country meant nothing here, Eri spat out with contempt and Yosho nodded in agreement. Looks like you're all right, but you should be careful. Trouble resulting from quarrels between countries is taken to the judicial administration, and worst case, the parties involved can be expelled. You didn't come on a royal ship? Your ship looks like a small cruiser, said Eri, looking at Yosho's ship moored in port. No wonder. Funaho was camouflaged with a metal hull. The Royal Tree Core unit was not very big to begin with, and with the hull units removed, only as big as a small cruiser. However, what lay inside was more powerful and destructive than an entire country's military. An extraordinary monster. No, I didn't bring her this time. The existence of the royal trees inside the royal ships was top secret, and anyone not in the royal family was unable to see inside. No matter the facts, or how it was explained, a royal ship in international space was considered a battleship under galactic law. Yosho lied to save himself some trouble. It was not just Eri. Only a few even among the royal family were aware that Yosho had gone to the academy on Funaho, and a dummy unit was attached to Funaho's outer hull units, which were left on the planet Jurai. There was no need to do this with second or third generation trees, but Yosho was on a first generation ship, of which only 4 existed in the entire history of Jurai, so of course Jurai was being careful. Oh, you don't seem to have brought an entourage either. Different strokes for different folks, even among the Jurai royal family, I guess. But I'm a bit disappointed. About what? I was looking forward to straightening out the rich idiot, using his power as a shield. Eri clenched her fists and looked up at the sky. She probably was planning to literally straighten him with those fists. Seeing her, Yosho chuckled internally. I thought I felt an odd affinity. She's a little bit like Sito-sama. I wonder if my fate binds me to these types of people. He looked over at Eri, who was peering into Yosho's face. What is it? Maybe it's still the same thing in a different way, Eri mumbled to herself. A chill went up Yosho's spine. What do you mean? Nothing. Oh, I'll tell you one thing. Like you said, your existence means nothing here. He may have thought it, but being told outright by someone else made even Yosho feel depressed. Eri chuckled, then pointing at Yosho, said gently but forcefully, but it's an opportunity. What you create here will be undoubtedly all your own. The reputation you earn here will spread far and wide. My own. Yes. So work hard. And there's going to be a welcome party for you tonight. It's just a private, informal thing. Thank you. Walking behind Eri, he felt a lump in his throat. What you create here will be undoubtedly all your own. These words might have been what Yosho had wanted the most. What could he establish here? Coming to Galaxy Academy, what Yosho obtained first was the possibility called freedom. That night, Eridano, how is this private and informal? Yosho shouted at Eri even though she was right next to him. The town was teeming with crowds of people as far as the eye could see. It was like a festival or parade of the entire academy, completely the reverse of the tranquility during the day. Eri winked at Yosho as he blinked in astonishment. Haha, surprised? But this isn't just for you. What do you mean? People from all over the galaxy come here, from a variety of backgrounds, religions, and faiths. They all have special holidays. Birthdays, too. You want people to celebrate them, and you want to celebrate for them. That's why there's some kind of celebration every day. It would be a pain to celebrate each and every one of them, so we do them all together. Does that mean there's a party like this every day? Not every day. Every night. You gotta study during the day, that's what students are here for. Here, put this on. She shoved a hat with a large mark on Yosho. What is this? Don't take it off. It's to mark you. Mark? He looked around to see others with the same things on their heads. At the same time, someone slapped him on the back, and Yosho saw a man he had never met before smiling at him. Congratulations. Thank you. Yosho stared blankly as the man walked off again, and many more came to talk to him. It seemed to be that anyone wearing these hats was someone celebrating something that day. Congratulations. Thank you. As the night wore on, their excited welcomes got more flamboyant. A woman with bright lipstick and a form-fitting dress clung to him, drunk. Oh, he's so cute. Come on, won't you let me be your guide? I can take you places. You know what I mean. Well, that's... Yosho was flustered in spite of himself. Oh, how precious. I'm afraid he's too young for the places you can take him. Eri wedged herself between them. Oh, you're his guide, Eri? Oh, poor thing, she chuckled. What do you? Later. The woman disappeared into the crowd without answering his question. The congratulations were incessant, but their curiosity seemed focused on seeing the student for whom Eri had chosen to be a guide. Eridano seems to be famous, Yosho understood from the snippets of conversations. You're the foreign student. Congratulations. What's your name? Masaki Yosho Jurai. As soon as Yosho answered with his full name to the women who surrounded him, the place instantly fell silent. Yes, he's the crown prince of Jurai. Eri smiled, and the original party mood gradually returned. Why did everyone fall silent at mention of Jurai? When he tried to ask Eri, another onslaught of shrill, female voices squealed. Older women tended to flock to him. Alcohol-fueled, the women hugged him and showered his cheeks with kisses. Without even needing to inhale the scent of perfume and alcohol, Yosho was drunk on their soft cheeks and bosoms. Boom, boom. Fireworks lit up the sky. Is it that time already? Well, good night. Everyone around him bid him good night one by one and left. The fireworks were the signal for curfew for those in junior high and below. Yosho-kun, let's go. Oh, right. Thank you for today, Yosho bowed to the people waving. Reluctant to part, several women surrounded him and would not let go. Eri practically snatched him away. You're so popular, Yosho-kun. Eri gave a sidelong glance. She was clearly having fun with this. That's not true. Oh yeah. The two of them walked on, pushed by the flow of the crowd, but that crowd dwindled in the side streets. The night breeze felt good on their tired bodies. Eri stopped and turned in front of the junior high dorm. I've registered you for your room already, so just do what they say. Good night. Yosho hastily stopped her from walking off. Eridano. I'll walk you to your dorm. Mine? But you're younger than me. She paused. Well, thanks. But there's some place I have to go. I have a few more friends who are celebrating tonight. Good night. She winked at him and ran towards the crowd. Oh. Yosho stared at her receding form and felt he had missed his chance to ask why everyone reacted strangely when he stated his full name. I'll casually ask when I see her tomorrow, he thought and cut through the dorm courtyard towards his room. Just then. Someone's there. He felt someone watching him. It was obvious to Yosho, since their ability to mask their presence was still immature, by the standards of Jiraians, who had unparalleled combat skills. Judging by another star system's standards, they were good enough to be professionals. Yosho pretended to be distracted by something to create an opening, and 5 shadows leapt towards him. They'd been tricked. They're Jurian. Their self-carriage and combat style confirmed it for Yosho. The battle among obstacles using the trees in the courtyard was the specialty of Jurai martial arts, and the movement of the shadows were naive, but demonstrated its basics rules of combat. Because of that, Yosho could read their moves. The battle was over all too easily, not even befitting the description of combat. Around Yosho were scattered 5 groaning boys. They were the ones who had attacked him. It was not by random chance that a 12-year-old could easily defeat 5 boys. Yosho had talented masters who trained him, the Emperor of Jurai, Misaki, Seto, Utsutsumi, who were exceptional even among the royal family. Misaki treated Yosho as her little brother, so she kept harassing him whenever she could. With Yosho being used to Misaki's speed, the fastest on Jurai, ordinary Jurian children did not stand a chance, even if they were older. Did I go too far? Yosho tried to check on the boys, then stopped. It would be humiliating for Jurian men to have their opponent show them concern. And there was another reason. Did you also have business with me? He said to the dark bushes. He had noticed that another group had been watching him. He knew from their ability to mask their presence that they were more skilled than the previous boys, but it was not much of a difference to Yosho. The leader made a signal, and the others carried away the boys Yosho had defeated. The only ones remaining in the courtyard were the leader and Yosho. My name is Hirata Kanemitsu. He looked fearless and was strongly built, but his large eyes were endearing. Those eyes made an impression on Yosho. I'm Masaki Yosho Jurai. Yosho also introduced himself, but it was not to fight. There was no hostile aura between them. Your status or power on Jurai means nothing here. Anyone who relies on them will be ridiculed. Even so, there are great fools who sometimes don't get it. They're usually royals and their families. Kanemitsu looked down at the spot on the grass where the boys had been. The guys who attacked you were sent by those idiots. What do you want with me? I came to warn you. Your power will be useless, but it doesn't erase the fact that you're a Jurian royal, and sometimes that may actually cause problems instead. The Amaki idiot brought a whole entourage and became a laughingstock. I'll keep that in mind. There are other things. The bell to signal lights out tolled just then. They had to be in their rooms before the dorm monitors started their rounds. Get a different guide. Are you talking about Aridano? Who's there? A dorm monitor heard their voices and swung his flashlight around. Do your own research. Later. I appreciate the warning. The flashlight beam lit up where they had been standing. It's past lights out. You better. The angry monitor widened his eyes in surprise. The students were nowhere to be seen. Back in his own room, Yosho took a shower to wash off the sweat and mulled over what Kanemitsu had said. Replace Aridano. The only thing I can think of is everyone's reaction at the celebration upon hearing I'm from Jurai. That must be related. He exited the bathroom and changed into his night clothes, toweled dry his hair, and pressed the home button on the access device he brought. Funaho, please check the Academy personnel databanks. Give me the profile on my guide, Eri Magmadano. In a few seconds, the terminal displayed the information. From the planetary nation Irai. Head Temple of Erine. Daughter of its leader, Gara Magma. So, that's what it was. With that information, all his questions were resolved. Erine was the largest religious group in the galaxy, spreading its influence everywhere and its members surpassing that of the largest nation's population. 10,000 years ago, it was only the religion of a single country, but a certain discovery increased its popularity explosively. It began with the fact that a common relic existed on many planets in the galaxy. Visitors from an unknown world or worlds made these religious relics. From these relics, primitive religions were derived by the indigenous humanoids or by peoples who came to be after the relics were created. The establishment of the Galactic Federation enabled communications between different worlds, and concurrently the scientists at the Academy deduced that the relics on each planet had common elements. The mystery that remained was which was the planet of origin for the relics, the true ancestor of the religion? Obviously, many planets tried to claim this title for themselves. The dispute intensified, even leading to wars. 1,000 years later, the Galaxy Academy research team led by Washu discovered its true roots. That was Irai. The fact that religions created by the relics were derived from Erine massively widened its influence. Here was the problem for Yosho. The major superpowers almost always had an Erine church. Jurai also had freedom of religion, and since it had a history as an aggregate of many people, there was a variety of religious faiths. But currently, aside from a few lingering customs, those religions were no more. Including Erine. There were churches for those who came to Jurai from abroad, but there were no Jurian believers. There were several reasons for this. One was that most of Jurai's territory was composed of colonies, so no religions with a relic as an idol had emerged. The other was that Jurai itself was in the frontiers of the galaxy, quite distant from Irai, and a relic was not present at all. The most important reason was that Jurai already had a clear object of worship, and that was the royal trees, with Tsunami as progenitor. Irai's belief in its god and Jurai's existing gods couldn't coexist, The people of Jurai did not accept other gods. It should be noted that God here meant something different from the concept of gods of the people of Earth where Tenchi lived. The existence of God had been identified as the awe of nature, aliens with the technology of interstellar flight, dimensional beings, and intelligent life forms on a higher plane of existence. In that sense, it differed from the indeterminate gods of primitive beings. In particular, intelligent life forms on a higher plane of existence possessed overwhelming power, even in this technologically advanced age, and were often referred to as gods. Since the creation of Jurai, worship transferred from various idols to the royal trees over a period of hundreds of thousands of years. Of course, the people of Irai were hostile to Jurai, considering them heathens. Recently, hardliners forbade the royal ships from their territorial space, and some on Jurai also felt they should retaliate. Kanamitsu Dano probably feared that I would be taken in by Irai. Ridiculous. Aridano isn't devious like that. For better or for worse, Yosho was born into complicated circumstances, and he was sensitive toward people's malice. Yosho was confident that Eri had no ulterior motives. But even if there were no intent, others might not agree. For some, it was a problem that Eri was even in the same place as Yosho. I must at least prevent Jurai's intervention with respect to Aridano. Yosho had the ability to accept reality and the means to cope. He had one question. Why did Aridano accept being his guide? While he pondered this, he fell asleep. The next day, it's morning. He waited for the rustling of leaves in bed, as usual. This is the Galaxy Academy. She's not coming here. Being in a different place did not mean he could simply put that part of his life behind him. He kept waiting for Misaki, who was not coming. At least until the usual time, just then. Yosho-kun. A loud voice that could wake the dead assaulted Yosho's ears. Say, Yosho-kun. Yosho's sentiments and his priceless slumber were blown away, sending him tumbling underneath his bed. Aridano. Eri's voice came from the communications monitor. Hey, were you awake? She laughed on the other side, weirdly chipper for so early in the morning. Good morning, Aridano. What are you wearing? Huh. He finally realized that he was still in his sleep clothes. Excuse me. Get changed and come on out. A lot of other transfer students are coming today, so it's going to get crowded if you're late. I'll be waiting at the park across the street. She stated her business and hung up. Yosho hastily got ready and headed to the park. I'm sorry I kept you waiting. Good morning. Good morning. That didn't take long. I'm impressed. Eri nodded in satisfaction, her arms crossed. Let's get the paperwork over with and get breakfast. Oh, but first. She lowered her arms, straightened up and stared at Yosho, and brought up the topic of the questions from last night. Say, Yosho-kun, are you sure you want me to continue as your guide? She was asking because she was certain that he had found out about her yesterday. Finding this very prudent, Yosho answered cheerfully, yes, as long as it's no trouble for you. I keep asking, but are you sure you're 12? Eri continued, smiling wryly at Yosho. It might get complicated. I know things are hard for your mother. My mother has many people looking out for her, including my father. This is about your future, too. I believe it's a good thing for Jurai's future for me to have good relations with other countries. There was no falsehood in his words. Eri knew this from looking into his eyes. Yosho-kun. No, never mind. Thank you. She saw the sincerity in his eyes, almost commented on it, and suppressed it. Noticing that, Yosho bowed deeply. Thank you for your assistance. Then that's the end of this topic. I don't want to hear any takebacks. If you do, I'll punch your face and curse and hold you in contempt forever. Eri smiled sweetly, talking fast. She does remind me of Misaki-sama and Sito-sama. Yosho thought briefly that he might have been too hasty, but looking at Eri's happy face, promptly forgot the whole feeling. A few hours later, the paperwork taken care of and breakfast eaten, Yosho left Eri and returned to his room without asking about what her thoughts had been. He could inquire into that later. There was something more pressing for him. It was the omnipresent feeling that something was out of place ever since he met her. Something was always watching him. It had only been 2 days, and things had been hectic. Though it certainly might begin and end with his being Jurai Crown Prince. If it's not my imagination, these are highly trained people, perhaps from a governmental intelligence agency. The problem is, who were they affiliated with? Any reputable information bureau would already be aware that Yosho was enrolled in the Galaxy Academy. Well, this might be a nuisance for Eridano, but I'll ask her. He could have called her from Funiho's access device, but he made the call through the terminal supplied in the room to make it easier for others to listen in. After several rings, the display showed the connection. Eridano? Forgive me for calling, but it's Yosho. Oh, Yosho-kun. It's so late, what's up? When she discovered it was Yosho, the audio switched to video. I am sorry, I didn't realize you'd already turned in. I'll call back tomorrow. Dismayed, he spoke quickly. On the monitor was Eri, dressed casually in just a t-shirt. Her hair was disheveled, and though still immature, the shadows of her shirt followed the soft curve of her breasts. All of it quickened Yosho's pulse. It's okay. I always dress like this at home. So what's up? Is there something you don't understand? Eri did not seem to mind Yosho seeing her slovenly outfit. She said she always dressed like this, but she would never have let it be seen on video if it were not Yosho. He was probably more like a little brother to her. Even so, Yosho, who had never seen a lady dressed like this before, was stunned. His attendants and ladies-in-waiting helped him dress, so he was used to showing others his skin, but he was not used to seeing skin. He desperately tried to hide how upset he was and continued, "Well, actually, there's someplace I would like you to go with me." With blood rushing to his cheeks, he spoke quickly, and Eri chuckled. "All right. Since you asked, I'll go with you." With how embarrassed he was, she must have thought that he was asking her for a date. But her tone was that of a kindergarten teacher dealing with her ward. "Oh, okay, thank you." He hastily specified the time and place and hung up. He ruminated over her parting words that she was looking forward to it. "I already feel tired even before we've gone out." He felt mentally drained and sighed deeply. Now he wondered if it really had to be Eri, but since it was only his second day there, he did not know anyone else. He concluded that his selection was obvious. "I feel like I'm making excuses." Not true. The voices inside his head sounded like he was trying to persuade himself. Oh well, he mumbled to convince himself and reached for Funiho's access device. The master key smoothly coordinated with the royal tree, and without words, his will reached Funiho. Satisfied, Yosho nodded and spoke gently, "I'm counting on you, Funiho."